So here I am, waiting at the starting line at the Texas Motor Speedway bus lot, ready to make my fourth run of the morning. Just waiting for the starter person to give me the point, and away I go. Take that first turn nice and slow, and when I trip the light, I get on it as hard as I can. I think I shift up, but then I hit the brakes. Keep it tight, wait, and then punch it. With all the speed I can, check up on the brake just a little bit to keep it through this maneuver. And then into turn number 2. I get on the brakes hard and turn and keep it tight. Now pause. I want to take a look at this moment right here. Some cars are momentum cars, and you really have to keep some speed, and maybe you need to go a little bit wider. But in the Evo, in my opinion, it's really a point and shoot kind of car, which means you go as fast as you can in the straights, but when you've got to turn, you really have to slow the car down because it is not a great car for turning. It's front heavy, and it pushes really bad because of the all-wheel drive system. And if you look at this cone right here on the right corner, I got as close as I could to that inside cone. Now that I'm set up nice and tight, I've minimized my turning radius and the distance that I have to turn because honestly, a little bit more speed and distance, the car just has a tendency to push out. It's generally not a benefit, so I like to try to keep it tight. And so here we go, let's continue on. I want to pause for just a moment right here at this second slalom cone. I want you to watch how I'm already turning back at the slalom cone before I even get to it. This is an example of backsighting. You'll see the car is already going back and around the backside of the slalom. And then on the next cone, you'll see the car is already going back around the next slalom cone. That's backsighting. In my opinion, I believe this is one of the quickest and most efficient ways to get around a slalom. Also, just keeping as tight as you can on each of those cones. You don't want to drive at the cone and go around it, nor do you want to wait till you get to the side of it before you turn. You want to be turning at it before the cone so you drive across the backside. That's what we mean by backsighting the cone. All right, let's continue on with this run. Okay, I want to pause right here at turn 3. This is another example of, you can see that white line way out there to the right. I could have gone much deeper into this turn, but I want you to see how far to the inside of the turn I'm keeping the car. And this is on purpose in order to, again, minimize that distance. The car has a tendency to push. I don't want to push out, waste time, waste distance. I'm keeping it tight. And let's go on into the exit of the turn and see where I end up. Right here, this exit cone is the cone that I was looking at when I was at the apex of the turn. This is the cone that I wanted to position the car closest to in an attempt to try to backside on this, because the exit cone of this turn is actually, if you look at it down the road, the first cone in a slalom. So by keeping it tight on this turn and positioning the car as close as I can to this exit cone, I can backside it, and I'm already set up for the next slalom event. If I'd have been way out wide or exited to the far side of that, I would have a long way to have to come back to get around that next slalom cone, which you see coming up. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue the footage here, and I want you to watch again how I'm also backsighting these cones as well, turning in the car before I get to the cone. Let's proceed now. I just wanted to pause right here for a moment of interest. Take a look at that slalom cone and how close it is to the edge of the car. This is where you want to get your slalom cones. In addition to backsighting them, you want to get on them as close as you can. So you really want to minimize that distance and feel like you're about to run that cone over, but just get as close as you can, stay on it, but don't hit it. Let's continue on. In the final major turn of the course, we have an opportunity to go out wide and really try to carry some speed through here. Here you can see I'm letting the car go ahead and push out to the right a little bit. I'm seeing that cone right there on the right, and I'm wanting the car to really carry some speed and try to drift out there a little bit. Making sure that I don't go out too far, because I need to get back to the left around a cone, 2 cones ahead, as you'll see here in just a moment. Okay, so I want to pause right here at this cone just before the finish line. Now this cone could be a little bit debatable as to whether or not you want to stay really tight on this or if you want to carry more speed and go out wide. It probably would have helped me a little bit to carry a little bit more speed, to go out a little bit further and cross those green cones all the way out to the far right hand side. I probably could have carried just a little bit more speed, maybe shaved off another 1/10 of a second, but I just wanted to drive neat and tight and tidy. So here you can see I'm just keeping it super tight on the cone just before the finish line, and then I'll throttle in and let the car go ahead and push on out towards the outside of the finish line, and then we'll have finished the run. Let's see how it goes.
Jeremy Ault on his fourth and final run. He finds a 1.5 seconds down to a 52.611. That is currently your fastest time of the day. 52.611, setting quite a bar there, Jeremy Ault, on your fourth and final run of the morning heat. Good job there. Currently first place in Class 3 as well.
All right, so there we go. At that point in time, I was first in class and was holding fastest time of day. But I was in the first run group, and we still had many other cars to run. However, at the end of the morning runs, I ended up in second place. I got beat by a Toyota MR2 by 11 thousandths of a second. After those morning runs, I took a moment to pose for a photo with my Evo, giving the second place sign. Still, it was a fun day, it was fun runs, and I had a big smile on my face, but guess what? We still have 4 more afternoon runs for me to try to come back, make the win, and redeem myself and all Mitsubishi Evolutions. Okay, maybe not really, but I have another chance in the afternoon to take back the win. So now, back at the starting line for our afternoon run. The sun has been out, it has warmed up the surface, the air is warmer, everything's going to be warmer now, the tires are a little bit more sticky, and we should expect to go a lot faster in the afternoon. So with that, let's see how things go. I'm sitting here at the starting line, just waiting for the starter to go ahead and point me on. And when he gives me the signal, I'm off. And I trip the starting light and put the throttle down. As fast as I can into turn 1, I hit the brakes, turn in, keeping it real tight, tight, keep it to the inside of that turn, give it all I can, go in here, come through there, and I'm carrying as much speed as I can, but I make a mistake right here. I brake way too late into turn number 2, and as you can see, I just go all the way to the outside of that. That is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to brake earlier. I wanted to stay tighter to the inside of that turn. Mind you, carrying as much speed as I could, but I did not mean to go that far out. And when I was at that moment in the course and I got that far out, it felt like forever coming back to the inside of that turn. I turned the wheel and I was just pedaling the gas a little bit, just waiting. And I said to myself, oh man, I totally blew it. I'm so far out here. I'm losing so much time. But you know what? You do what you got to do like a good racer should. You put your head right back in the game. You focus back on the moment. You don't get stuck in the moment behind you. Focus on the course ahead. Put your eyes ahead of you and push on and do the best that you can for the rest of the course. So let's go ahead and watch the rest of the run. Alright, I'm doing the best I can to get through this slalom as quick as possible. It's looking pretty good. Brake, come into turn 3, nice and tidy, nice and tight. Look at that, right on that cone. Backsiding those slalom cones, I'm keeping it tight. That's right where I want to be. Everything's looking good. It's looking good. Get on that throttle. Touch the brake a little bit. Go to the outside there. And brake just a little bit. Turn it and give it the throttle all the way to the outside of the finish line. All right, let's see how we did.
Jeremy Ault finds another big chunk of time and drops Class 3 lead even lower, down to a 51.428. 51.428 for Jeremy Ault now on his 7th run. He's now 8th in a winning for first place in Class 3.
when I finished that run, it felt fast, and I knew it was a good one because that was the fastest time that I'd put down that day. I was down in the 51s. I didn't know exactly where I was going to end up, or if I was going to get first place, or if I was in second, or if the other cars were doing low 51s or even 50s. But I knew that the run felt good. It was fast. I was happy with it. It put a smile on my face. And you know what? Best of all, most important, is that I had fun. I had a good day. I had fun. So anyway, fast forward, I drive on down to the paddock, staging area, whatever you want to call it, and I'm parked there. And so Nathan in the MR2 comes up to me and he says, "Well, congratulations, you won first place." I was shocked. I was like, "What? Really? I won?" And so it came as a surprise to me. I knew I'd done well, but I didn't know if he had gone even faster, which has happened to me in the past. But bottom line, on that day, my first autocross back after a 5-year break, I won first place in class. Well, that's it for today's video. I'm going to wrap up this video playing the run again without me talking over it this time, so you can watch it and hear it in all of its full 4K glory. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful or informative, please be sure to blip that like button and mash on that subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, your feedback, comments, suggestions, recommendations, complaints are all welcomed. Put them in the comments section below. I do my best to reply to everyone. I love to hear your comments. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that notification bell so you'll know when the next video comes out, and there will be more. In the meantime, I hope to see you out there. And until then, this is Jeremy Ault with Evolution Autocrosser, signing off.
Still dropping time, now just 1.8 seconds behind. Ault finds another big chunk of time and drops class 3 lead even lower down to a 51.428. 51.428 for Jeremy Ault now on his 7th run.